Welcome back to the Greek Connection podcast. Today we're joined by Dimitri Florakis, a teacher and the founder of SIDO Fragrances, a new fragrance house inspired by Greek mastika, the rare resin known as the tears of Chios. Based in San Francisco, Dimitris created SIDO to blend culture, memory, and storytelling through scent, while bringing authentic mastika-based fragrances to a modern audience. Today we'll talk about the inspiration behind the brand and the journey of bringing Caesar to life. As a Greek American and Orthodox Christian, how does your identity and faith shape the vision and storytelling behind SIDO Fragrances?
So essentially, with this brand, obviously, I wanted to combine my Greek identity as well as my Orthodox identity, and it's hard to separate the two of them, but I
Right.
do I do view them a little bit differently. So obviously, with my heritage from Greece and from Chios, I wanted to honor Chios, my family. With the Orthodox aspect of it, again, like I mentioned earlier, it's in the name, Saint Isidros, patron saint of Mastika, so I wanted to honor him. So essentially, I asked my priest and I got his blessing for this project. And we did a Paraklesis service to ask for the help of the saints. I go to church here at Holy Virgin Cathedral in San Francisco, where St. John Maximovich is. I don't know if you know who
Right.
St. John Maximovich is.
I'm not too familiar.
Okay, so he's an amazing saint. He's a Russian bishop saint, or actually I think he's Serbian ethnically. He's Serbian, and he's at a Russian church here in San Francisco, Holy Virgin Cathedral. So we did the priest and I did a Paraklesis service asking for the blessing and help of Saint John Maximovich and Saint Isidros and the other saints. And yeah, so essentially I wanted to have like definitely like spiritual footing and backing with this
Yeah.
project, and also, I have a good friend who's from Chios. She's a Greek American with roots from both sides from Chios, and she's done an icon for me before for one of my godsons,
Mhm.
and her work is great. She's an iconographer and she's also an artist. So she does paintings, watercolors, and
Right.
iconography. Her name is Nia Kondolian, and then on Instagram it's Nia Art. So
Okay.
Niaart. So I asked her. I said, "Hey, I'm doing this project. I haven't made it live yet on Kickstarter, which is what I'll talk about later. But I was like, I haven't published it on Kickstarter. I definitely want to have an icon of Saint Isidros, personally speaking, and also like it being made in the process while I'm creating my brand, while I'm working on my brand. I'd love for you to be working on this icon of Saint Isidros for me because
Right.
he's the name of the brand." And she's like, "Yes, I would be happy to do that." So she's doing that behind the scenes, and again, it's just a way to
Nice.
combine the Greek identity, the Celtic identity, and the Orthodox identity.
So on the perfume bottle, it's gonna have Agios Isidoros on it.
Well, we're gonna have the mastika tree on everything.
Oh, okay. I see.
So actually, here's my water bottle, and then this is the
Oh,
mastika tree.
that is a beautiful. So that will be your logo.
Yeah, so our logo has SIDO Fragrances and the mastika tree in the background.
Right.
And the reason why we say this tree weeps gold is because, again, after Ios Isidros, or while he was being martyred, the tradition holds that the tree started crying the mastika tears. And that's why the I was like, I'm not crying. I don't have tears. I just had something on my face. Uh, that's why I had to wipe my face. But
No,
anyway,
it's all right.
the masika tears are from the masika trees, and again, that's all connected to Saint Isidros.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, very spiritual journey, like very spiritual brand you have created. But yeah, now we got a history of that. We understand who's doing your art. You officially launched SIDO this April 2026 with a Kickstarter campaign ending June 1st. What has the journey been like so far? And what have you learned from the building fragrance house from the ground up?
Sure. I love this question because it kind of like it's a good way for me to kind of encapsulate everything. The thing
Yeah.
is, on this one question, I can spend forever talking about it
Yeah.
because doing a Kickstarter project is not for the faint of heart. There are so many ups and downs. It's very difficult. So
Right.
Kickstarter, essentially, for those who don't know, it's a platform online where you can post your creative ideas. And so creators like, film directors, artists, um, authors will put an idea on there and to receive funding.
Right.
So my idea, again, I don't have experience in the fragrance world. I definitely wanted to collaborate with Dr. Spiros. He agreed to collaborate with me together, and
Mhm.
we worked on a business contract before I launched the Kickstarter. But in order for this project to come to life, you need money, right?
Exactly.
I can't just have this beautiful idea and
Yeah,
then
exactly.
like, it appear out of thin air. So basically on Kickstarter, we're looking for funding to pay the perfumer, to pay Dr. Spiros, to pay me back for, I've been doing a lot of, I have thousands of dollars I've already spent personally on this project.
Yeah.
So promotion materials, paying people on my team, videographer especially, because our videographer is amazing.
Right.
He did our promotional video for this
Amazing.
project. Website, so everything costs money, and obviously importing Masika, bottling the fragrances. Um, I calculated this with Dr. Spiros and also with an accountant and with people in the fragrance industry. And Kickstarter has a way for it to also include taxes in there. So essentially,
Right.
this project just getting us off the ground altogether is $50,000
Wow.
US dollars. So that includes creation of the fragrances, bottling, sending it out to people, the labor behind the project, everything. The way Kickstarter works is that you have a goal, you set a goal, you put in your budget, and then you pitch it out to people like Shark Tank.
Right.
Instead of going
Okay.
to instead of going to the sharks, you're going to friends, families, neighbors, the
Okay.
community, and you say, "Hey, I have this idea. Help me fund it." Right? And
Okay.
when you fund it, it's different than investing per se, because when
Right.
you back a Kickstarter, there are rewards in return.
Oh,
So
okay. I
our
see.
rewards, for example, are you pledge $60, you can try all three fragrances once they're
Right.
made.
Okay.
Um, and then we have other reward tiers that are higher or lower. But the caveat about Kickstarter
Right.
and the difficult part about Kickstarter is that you put your number out there, you put your budget out there, you have a deadline, and if you don't meet that deadline and you don't get full funding, then you don't get any money, and no one
Okay. I
gets
see.
charged. So that's why it's a
Ah.
pledge instead of a purchase. So people
Okay.
will say, I pledge $50 or $60 for this project, and I pledge $200 for this project. If the project is not successful and we don't reach our final goal of $50,000, then no one gets charged. I get no money,
Oh,
and
wow.
the perfumes don't get made. So
Wow.
that's how Kickstarter works.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It's
Okay.
just this long process for this to happen.
hmm So it's tricky because you set your own deadline. So we started back in April.
Okay.
The deadline I had set was June 1st, because that way
Okay.
it's the first of the month. People know when it is. But I've been looking at our numbers every day and checking.
Okay.
Right now we're around I think we are, last I checked, 28% funded. So we should
Congrats on
re
that. That's a good win.
Thank you, thank you. So that's over $14,000, but that $14,000 can turn to $0 if we don't reach our
Yes.
full goal. So our deadline was June 1st.
Okay.
And then I put in a request. You can do this.
Okay.
If Kickstarter allows it, they can do it. You can put in a request for an extension. So I was looking at our numbers. By now, we should at least be 50% funded. We're not. So I reached out to Kickstarter and I said, hey, please do grant us an extension. So they granted us an extension of 7 more days. So we have until June 8th to raise the full 100%. And again, right now we're nearing 30%. So we could really use any support and pledges. And that's why I've been reaching out to people in
Perfect.
the Greek community, because they already know Masika, but I've also been reaching
Amazing.
out to people in the fragrance community um, to seek support for this project. Now,
Perfect.
also
So
too, so your listeners know, we were featured in the National Herald. So I believe it is based in New York. It's a Greek American paper, well known. I think it's one of the biggest or the biggest Greek paper in America. One of the biggest one of the biggest Greek papers outside of Greece. So we were featured both in their English edition and in their what's it called edition, and the Greek edition and their English edition.
congrats, Dimitri. That's amazing for SIDO.
Thank you, thank you. And
Also,
again, so people know about us,
yeah.
but they don't know how Kickstarter works, right?
Okay.
So it's been interesting because different generations have different ideas about how Kickstarter works, and that's kind of one of the trickiest parts of this campaign. Is like some people know automatically, oh, I know Kickstarter, I know how it works, and then other people are like, do I just give you money? I'm like, no, don't give me money. Pledge on the Kickstarter, because if you pledge on the Kickstarter, that helps us reach our goal. If we don't reach our goal, then we don't get funded and we don't have these
Right.
fragrances. lots of, I mean, it's sweet. And
The long
I
process.
ha yeah, it is sweet. People are like, want to give me money. Like, they got this from church. And I'm like,
Right.
thank you, but do the Kickstarter. They're like, I don't know how to do a Kickstarter. Here you go. Here's $20. I'm like, thanks. This covers not even a full bottle of Masika. But,
How much will mastica cost when it's on the shelves?
well, we'll have to see. I can't make any predictions for that yet, especially
Okay.
because costs and prices have changed. And I mean, America it's tricky with imports and tariffs and
Right.
different things. And also the price of Masika can change. So when I did my budget, I over budgeted a little bit when it comes to imports and tariffs and
Okay.
taxes because again, we're kind of at a volatile time in our country, at least here in America. I hate to say it, but I did account for changes in the market. Now, again, that's more of the business side of things, and
Yeah,
Dr.
no, it's
Spears and
good.
I do have a business contract. But I'm hoping that hopefully the price of Masika will stay consistent.
Perfect.
Um, so yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it is what Dr. Spears' work is very exquisite, and he is a well-known worldwide for being an excellent perfumer. So you can think about like how much would you get for a bottle of like something else, like of Armani and things like that. Like
Yeah.
some bottles of fragrances or colognes or perfumes are gonna be like $200. Now, for me, I'm just starting off with small samples.
Right.
And if you go to our Kickstarter, you can see like $60 will get you the three little fragrances.
Okay,
Because we're
perfect.
starting with samples, and the reason why we're starting with samples is we want to see people that like will they like
Perfect.
it, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we're on the Kickstarter, we're not doing any full bottles yet. We're just
Okay.
doing sample size with the 50K. Now, let's say people love the samples and the Kickstarter is successful and they want more. At that point, I'm going to start looking more heavily at like, okay, maybe investors or business partners or maybe doing a second Kickstarter or something else. There's something called Indiegogo, which people have also talked to me about, where it's like Kickstarter, but you don't have to reach your full goal.
Okay.
You get the money even if you don't reach your full goal. So I do have different opportunities in case this Kickstarter doesn't work out, and people that want to collaborate with me on different other things, which I can't share yet.
Mhm.
But I do have people that are interested in working with me in other ways if the Kickstarter does work out, or even if it does. But for right now, we're very focused on the June
Perfect.
8th deadline and getting the full funding. So that's why I've been reaching out to different
Yeah.
news outlets, different podcasts. I think you're my first podcast, actually.
Perfect. And thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I need to do a podcast. I mean, I've done an interview with Orthodox Small Business
Okay.
Alliance, which was great. I think an Orthodox Small Business Alliance just got started. So there's a bunch
Mhm.
of Orthodox small businesses on there. I
Nice.
think your reach is a little bit bigger, and I definitely want to do like an actual podcast.
Perfect. But yeah, I like obviously you can't say, but you're doing stuff like more stuff in the future for SIDO, which I really enjoy and I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, God willing, it all works out. I mean, that's also my mentality. Obviously, it's a crowd-funded project, and I want the crowd to accept what I have to,
Perfect.
what my story is, and the background, and the scents, and the fragrances. Like Proto Theos, like God willing, it all
Exactly.
works out.
What makes mastica such a meaningful and unique ingredient in the world of perfume?
So, in the world of perfume, it's unique because it's more of a green scent. It's woody, and it can be used with a variety of different elements.
Okay.
Um, Again, maybe I'm not the best person to ask this, even though I am doing the Mosaico fragrance line, because
Yeah.
my knowledge of the fragrance world isn't too vast.
Right.
But Dr. Spiros and I have basically been collaborating on how can we use Masika, how is it unique? It
Perfect.
is unique because again, it's hard to pinpoint to something else, right? So it is woodsy. Um, it's also refreshing. It is classified as a green scent,
Right.
and green scents are kind of one of the newer families of scents, I would say, and something that is more plant-based. So again, pistachio, green, grass, green, masika. Even though masika resin is not green, it's a green feeling scent. People compare it to like cucumber sometimes,
Okay.
right? So cucumbers also fresh, refreshing, soft, subtle. So it's kind of like one of these citrus scents, I would also say, but it's also related to the pistachio family because
Oh.
Masika if you look up the species name of Masika, it's like pistachios.
Oh,
It's
okay.
related to the pistachio tree.
Okay, I see.
So it's like it. So in a sense, that's how Masika is you. One of the sense that Masika is unique because it has like kind of this nutty, woody kind of feel, but also a citrus feel.
You're collaborating with Dr. Spiros Drosopoulos from Baruti Perfumes. What has it been like working with an experienced perfumer to bring this vision to life authentically? I'm trying to say is first, who is he? And the question I just said.
Sure. So Dr. Spiros also has Greek ancestry. He's lived a majority of his life in the Netherlands, actually.
Oh, okay.
So we have that connection where I believe he was born in Greece, but we have this connection about, again, like Greeks living outside of Greece. So understanding what it means to be someone who's, ethnically Greek, but living in a different country. He is a chemist and he's a perfumer, just like how my Babu was. Chemist, perfumer, teacher. And also he's Dr. Spiros is a doctor, right? So
Right.
he got into perfumery later in life, and
Okay.
he's very interested in neuroscience
Okay.
and like kind of more of like the chemistry of things. And
Right.
what's really interesting, again, I love working with him because he's
Yeah.
smart, he's kind, he's very grounded and just a good, like very open to collaborating with me. But
Perfect.
also I like the aspect of um, you know, him being like experienced with the modern world and like what it
Right.
means to be a perfumer today. So there's two different aspects to working with Dr. Spiros that I want to highlight.
Right.
One is that like, and it's kind of a side project, I think, of his is that he's trying to see how does AI interact with perfumes? Does
Wow.
perfumery and AI have any connection? Right. So kind of like how I mentioned before, like AI kind of helped me connect with the right people. Well, he's kind of like on the side trying to figure out like, is there any connection between the two of them? How can we make this work?
That's
And
interesting.
number, yeah, and obviously he'd be the person to talk to about that. Like, there's a little bit about it online, but not too much. And he and I haven't talked about it too much in person or on video call, but that's one thing that he's doing, which is really interesting. And two is something called the Red List Project. So the Red
Okay.
List Project is something that he's doing and other perfumers I'm in contact with here in the Bay Area in San Francisco or just, online, is that you have a lot of species that are unique. For example, Mastica. But other species, Mastica is not endangered, but it is protected
Okay.
by Greece, and it's single origin,
Right.
only from a certain area, so it is unique in that way. But there are other species that are, for example, endangered or overused or things like that. And the Red List Project is taking those scents of endangered plants and making them like a different way, right? So not using those plants, but mimicking those scents to use it in
Ah,
modern day perfumery.
okay. I like that.
So
And did you have to get special access since it is limited, like you said? Greece does protect them. Do you have to get special access to ship it and stuff?
for Mastika,
Yes.
uh, no, because anyone can go online and order from Mastika shop directly, and that's what I've been doing. I mean, as I've been
Okay.
working on this project all year, I've been ordering a whole lot of Mastika.
Okay. Perfect.
So you can go to Mastika shop, and I think if you ship outside of Greece though, if you ship outside of the EU, so if you want it shipped to, again, like a lot of these Greek communities that are aside of Europe, Canada, Australia, America, I think it's like you
Right.
need to spend at least 70 euros worth of dollars or 70 euros worth of money on these products. But yeah, so I've been buying a lot from Mastika shop. But yeah, so back to Dr. Spiros,
Yeah.
his Red List project, his collaboration with them is very cool. And I know another perfumer here in San Francisco. His name is Mauricio, and he just
Okay.
released a line, also a connection with the Red List project. So I mean, again, being a modern day perfumer, perfumery's been around for ages, and of course, who invented it? The Greeks. Actually, I believe is Cyprus and Greece. Both of them. I mean, the Cypriots were
Right.
are Greek, Greek speaking at least. And
Yeah.
so you have that connection, and it's cool to see like how like you have a lot of or not a lot, but you have a handful of Greeks in modern perfumery continuing what we've been doing for generations.
Yeah. And that's great. Amazing to see. Amazing to have.
Hmm.
I love that
Yeah.
we have that in the Greek culture. Next question is, beyond creating fragrances, what message or cultural experience do you hope people take away when they encounter SIDO for the first time?
Hmm. What should they take away for the first time when they experience like
Yeah,
a Mosquito
exactly.
fragrance?
Like a customer coming to buy your fragrance. What do you want them to take away?
I kind of this is kind of tricky because again we
Okay.
don't have these fragrances yet, but I do want them to experience something that's going to be like I mentioned in like a Kickstarter in my Kickstarter and on the website, something that's like grounding and cleansing. This idea of that, like in the modern world, we're so distracted by so many different things. Again, social media, and then again, some perfumes can be really in your face or obnoxious. And I wanted something that's like simple, something that reminds you of the natural world, something that uses
Mm.
authentic ingredients. And so that's kind of what I want. I kind of want the simplicity of Masika, but also the u uniqueness of it to be
Okay.
like at the forefront. And again, it's like the idea of like a scent that is subtle, but like lasts at least in your memory. And also with Dr. Spears' help, it will last not just in your
Perfect.
memory, but like it will last longer than, 10
Perfect.
minutes.
It's not just perfume, it's like I mentioned, religious, it's
Hmm.
spiritual. It's good
Yeah.
for your health.
Yeah.
More
So
than just
again, when it comes to uh like the spiritual aspect of it, I do have I do find this a little bit tricky, right? Because
yeah.
we do want to appeal to people outside of the church, because it's going to be a fragrance brand. It's not. It is an Orthodox Christian brand, an Orthodox Christian company, but it is also for those who who don't know about Orthodoxy. And I think it's a really good way for them to experience what Masika is first sometimes, because lots of times people are like, huh, where does this substance come from? Or like, why does a tree weep gold? Like, what does that mean? Or who's Saint
Yeah.
Isidore? Right? So, I mean, that's how people find the faith and find the church. Lots of times is through storytelling, right? When you had Saint Paul go to Athens, and then he was teaching the Athenians and he like about the about who God is, right? And who what the Trinity is. He didn't just go to them and say like, "Oh, I'm going to teach you about Orthodoxy," right? Instead, he's like, "I'm going to go to Athens and I'm going to observe what their customs are, what their traditions are." And then he saw, the whole thing about like seeing
Yeah.
the monument to the unknown God. Like it's really important for people, I think, today in today's modern, like
World.
post-Christian world, you can say, to experience um, Christianity through what they're already used to, what they already have in their lives, and everyone has, especially nowadays, like a fragrance that they really like. Or like products that they use every day, and like why not have an Orthodox, fragrance company?
Absolutely. I like that a lot. Orthodox Fragrance
Yeah.
Company.
And again, but that's the thing too, like people that don't know what orthodoxy is, and then they can be like, okay, like this is interesting, like what is orthodoxy? Because I do think a lot of people are discovering the church for the first time through unconventional means. You
Yeah.
see it a lot through social media uh and YouTube, and
Absolutely.
people like I have one of my godsons like discovered orthodoxy through music. Actually,
Wow.
both of my godsons are really connected to music, and like how music can open up the
Yeah.
doors of the church to people. But like, yeah, so I think like different ways, and like, the fragrance world, you open up a church door and you have like incense and fragrances, and um experiencing things with the senses is very orthodox.
Let's go to our final question now is looking ahead, where do you see the fragrances in the next few years? And what would success mean to you personally and culturally?
Ooh, this is a great question. In the next few years, God willing, we'll have the three fragrances obviously already made, and then our fourth or fifth fragrance as well. Dr. Spears and I already have been talking about other fragrances and looking ahead about like what else we can include or do.
Right.
But I would love to have, the full bottles and people being able to recognize our brand, especially in the Greek community and in the fragrance world. And I'd love to have, a full line, because again, what we're doing is raising funds first for these samples. But I'd love to actually have a well-functional running business, and success and money don't correlate for me, right? For me, it's the idea of like bringing this project to life and doing it in honor of my grandparents, doing it in honor of the homeland, doing it, for the love of Masika, and that's kind of what success means for me. I didn't go into this project thinking about the money aspect of it. I went into this project thinking about like the unique qualities of Masika. So when it comes to success, I definitely want people to be able to experience it for the first time. But again, we live in a world where money is necessary. So
Yeah.
Kickstarter is the way we're raising money for this right now. So if you want to support us, the best thing to do is go to our Kickstarter and pledge. You don't have to pledge a lot. Anyone who's interested in learning about us can go to tinyurl.com/SIDO, so SIDO fragrances. And that's a link directly to our Kickstarter, which again now goes until June 8th. So that's the best way to support us. But success to me is like, okay, obviously having the Kickstarter funded first and foremost, so we can get this project out there. But two, for people actually to experience Mastica in a fragrance that's going to be authentic and going to be long lasting, and going to be truly something Greek.
Yeah, perfect. And you were saying you wanted to show your samples.
Yeah. So right now we don't have any samples available yet because they're in pre-production. We got to fundraise on the Kickstarter. I don't think I have the. I just got back from this trip, so
That's
unfortunately
okay.
I don't have it. But the postcard. But essentially, the first three fragrances we're going to release. The first one is going to be more herbal and flowery. So this was my original idea when it came to the fragrances. Something like masika, rosemary, thyme, basil, oregano, white rose. So that's my original idea of
Okay.
having something that uses Greek ingredients and Greek plants. The second fragrance that's been requested a lot and that Dr. Pierce and I have been thinking of is a creamy Masika classic Greek dessert kind of vibe, like Ipovrikio style, which is again like gonna be more like sweet, vanilla, creamy, maybe honey. And then the third one is something else that's also been requested from various people that have funded our project is more of a smoky, aromatic, minty eucalyptus scent.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. I like that.
hmm So, and then
And
also with these three fragrances, what's key about them is that they can be used for anyone, right? So some people might think of one as more masculine or one as more feminine, but again, it depends on how the fragrance interacts with your skin, and that's why all these fragrances are unisex. So it can be for guys or for
oh,
girls.
okay.
Mhm.
I like that. And for the audience, where can you find your brand?
Yeah, so again, just to go to tinyurl.com/Cedo Fragrances, that's directly to our Kickstarter. You can also find us on Instagram, you can find us on TikTok, and we have our own website, so cedofragrances.com. So we're all over the web, and hopefully we stay on the web. If we're fully funded by the end of the day, June 8th, we'll stay on the web. If not, we're going to go ahead and take a break to re-strategize. But regardless of whether or not this Kickstarter is successful or is not successful, I do plan to continue, and I'm very passionate about this project. But we would love any support we can get, so definitely go check us out at tinyurl.com/Cedo Fragrances.
Perfect. That was the Greek Connection podcast. Dimitri, once again, thanks for joining us on the Greek Connection. Once again, guys, if you like fragrances, this episode is for you. And check out SIDO Fragrances. I'm Christian Isaac. Take care, everyone.